Namaste, greetings and blessings, and welcome to the Center for Spiritually Integrated Arts. This is our Sunday message, and I am Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson, the founder and spiritual director of this center. And I invite you to watch not only this Sunday message, but any of our archived messages. I invite you to join any classes or events that we have going on. I invite you to reach out and email if you have any questions. Questions about this community, questions about me, questions about what we do, or questions about this science of mind and spirit, liberation theology that we practice and teach. And if by chance you find yourself seeking beloved community with other like-minded beings, even if you already belong, are a member of another community, church, or center, you are more than free to have multiple affiliations wherever you are fed and find community. You are invited. And lastly, feel free to click like, subscribe, and share this or any other message or announcements with others in your circle. And with that, much appreciation, love, and blessings. Enjoy the message. Namaste and greetings. October 12th. We're still talking about what it means to glow up. Today we are talking about the Holy Land is everywhere. So if you're ready, why is it important for us to give reverence to Mother Earth? Why is that important? Now, the grand full response, the full answer might surprise you. And in addition to that, what does it look like when we respect and revere it? So not only why is it important, how do we do it? You got that? You need to write it down? Okay. So today, in honor of our Indigenous siblings, to honor Indigenous Peoples Day, knowing that this land is their land, let's find inspiration from them, from their tradition of how to honor Mother Earth, how to honor the land as sacred, as holy, as divine. Because when we do that, then we understand truly what it means to glow up. Breathe. If you have been attending these Sunday messages for any length of time, then you have visited this image or another image of the earth at some time or another. And yes, we are here once again. But this time, what are we talking about? We are talking about how many people perceive the earth as simply another commodity to parcel off and to sell. And yet, Chief Seattle, back in 1854, said, "How can you buy or sell the sky, the warmth of the land?" The idea is strange to us. If we do not own the freshness of the air and the sparkle of the water, how can you buy them? Every part of this earth is sacred to my people. Breathe that in. It's kind of audacious in a non-life affirming kind of way to have the audacity to sell something that you can't even own. Huh. We abuse land, we abuse the earth, we abuse that which is because we regard it as a commodity that belongs to us. When we see land as a community to which we belong, then we may begin to use it with love and respect. So which one will we? Commodity, community. These are the choices. One is life affirming, the other is not. Okay, let's go on. I see the wheels already turning. And yes, we have seen the earth on fire before. Yes. And once again, yes. Why, Ray? Why must we continue to revisit? Because we have yet to collectively change. I will continue to beat the drum to awaken people until there is no more need to awaken people. It's as simple as that. So, yes, we are right back here talking about the destruction of the earth because the destruction of the earth is still occurring. What the beep? Yins guys are killing me here. Literally. So, what are we supposed to do? How do we save the earth, heal the earth? How do we rescue the earth? How do we honor and revere it as sacred and holy instead of trashing it like it's a frat house or dumping on it like it's a toilet? You protect, preserve, and care for what you value. You disregard, disrespect, and discard what you do not value. And as you do to one, you do to all. See, we can't have it both ways. We either honor and regard, or we dishonor and disregard. Can't have it both ways. Your lack of sacred awareness has caused you to desecrate. Pause for a second. Let's examine that word desecrate. To make something sacred, to bless it, is to evoke. Some would say invoke, but to evoke that which we recognize to be there. Right? We are consecrating this thing. We are blessing it, imbuing it with that which is the power of the divine. To desecrate it is to remove that, to disregard that, to ignore it completely. So, as he is saying, our lack of sacred awareness has caused us to desecrate the planet. And in so doing, we are also desecrating all life on it, which includes ourselves. You got that? Okay, because we're gonna keep on going. Okay, come on, let's keep on going. So you remember the title for today's talk? It's referencing the holy. Okay, okay. I'm just checking to see if you still awake and paying attention. That's all. Breathe. So there are people who claim particular lands and claim particular people as being holy, yet at the same time, they cause harm to other lands and to other peoples. You can't have it both ways. You can't claim to be sacred and godly people, or whatever words you want to use, while also using death and destruction to hurt and harm others. Doesn't work both ways. So in reference to that, let's understand once again that what we do to another, we do to ourselves. And in this battle, this tug of war between whose land is holy, whose land is sacred, and how much real estate, how much money can I make by getting these people off of this land, claim it as mine, dice it up into little parcels and acres and sell it, how rich can I get? It is precisely that battle, that consciousness, that is destroying us. Why do you fight over something that is not yours to own? Why do we fight over something? I mean, we could think about gangs. Growing up in Pittsburgh, there were gangs in Pittsburgh.
Now, there didn't used to be, but at one point they came in and they claimed neighborhoods, Homewood, the Hill District, East Liberty, etc. But they don't own those neighborhoods. How do you claim a neighborhood as a color that you're willing to kill somebody over when it's not even yours? Why do we do that with other things, other nations, other lands, other peoples? We claim supremacy of this place or that place, of this nationality versus that nationality, of this economic bracket over this one. The rich people's lives are worth more than those poor people's lives. So we'll give the rich people more tax cuts and tax breaks and tax brackets, while we bleed the poor people to such a degree that they then die. For that is the nature of capitalism. Wait, what? When we operate in that way, it is demonstrating that we are operating in accordance with spiritual ignorance. To the degree that we are destroying stuff, we are harming things that we can never repair. Think about Oppenheimer creates the bomb is dropped in Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Once that happens, you can't repair that. Once lives are gone, you cannot repair that. Once people's shadows are seared into the concrete, you cannot repair that. Yes, you can rebuild buildings, and yes, you can repave streets. Yes, but you cannot go back in time. You cannot truly repair or heal this as though it never happened. 9/11, you cannot repair the damage that is done. You can heal, you continue to grieve, you continue to heal, but you cannot repair what's been destroyed. And I know we have spoke about the Japanese art of kintsugi. The pottery is broken and you remend it with gold joinery. Yes. But note, one, the pottery has not been destroyed. There are pieces still remaining. And two, what you are creating is not the original pottery. It's a new form of. The New York that birthed after 9/11 is not the same New York that was pre 9/11. The Japanese culture, community, nation now is not the same. Germany is not the same Germany today as it was pre Hitler, in case you're wondering. So why do we continue to destroy things that we cannot repair? All we have to do is wake up and change. Wake up and change. That's what we need to do. Wake up. And that means a variety of things for a variety of people. There are those who say being woke is a bad thing. And yet, Greta is reminding us, in order to save not only the planet, but us on the planet, we must be woke. For to be woke is to be in the energy of evolution and change, life affirming. So rather than seeing the earth, the land, the waters, etc., as simply another commodity, another way to get rich, once again, be reminded, you protect, preserve, and care for what you value. Do we value the earth, the water, all of nature? You disregard, disrespect, and discard that which you do not value. Right? Why do we have a garbage can? What goes in the garbage can? What goes in this? Do I put my favorite things in here? The things that I value the most? No, it's the things that I no longer have use for. I discard them. They become garbage, not treasures. So when we discard the planet, let us realize and remember that as we do to the earth, we do to ourselves. As we do to the ice caps, we do to ourselves. As we do to the various ecosystems, the bees, the rainforest, we are doing to ourselves. So how do we move into an energy of protect, preserve, care, and honor? Earth is crammed with heaven, but only those who see this heaven, only they take off their shoes. You know what that's a reference to? Don't come any closer, take off your sandals. For the place where you are standing right now is holy ground. You know what that's from? Anybody? Anybody know what that's from? Type it in the chat. Okay. Does that help? You said no. Okay, that's fine. Not all of us are familiar with the Bible. That's fine. It comes from the place where Moses ascends the mountain and burning bush. Yes, the bush was burning and yet it was not consumed. Here's the full verses rather, which no, I'm not going to read, but I'm giving it to you for your own edification. But I do want to bring us to the last line, 14, where it says, and God said to Moses, I am who I am. Right? That was the name. I am has sent you. I am that I am. Footnote is, another translation of that is, I am, or I will be what I will be. I am that which is ever becoming itself or more of itself. Now, what does that have to do with anything? Like, what does that have to do with what we're talking about? It has to do with understanding that the land upon which we stand is hallowed ground. The earth is crammed with heaven, and those who see it remove their shoes. In other words, those who recognize the sacredness of the earth and of one another honor it, respect it, celebrate it. Why in the Japanese culture, why do they take their shoes off when they enter into their homes? Same reason. They understand, yes, it's for cleanliness as well, but they understand that the dirt, the dust, the energy of the outside is not meant to be inside, for the inside is meant to be clean and sacred. Isn't it funny that we let, as Gandhi said, we let people run through our minds with their dirty feet? And that often happens because we're not respecting ourselves enough to remove our own sandals from our own sacredness that we are witnessing. So, a couple of ways that we can change this and begin to honor and respect, etc., is one, let us start taking more responsibility for how we treat the earth and how we treat one another. Do we litter? Do we throw trash out of the car window as we drive? Are we doing our best to have sustainable things like bags when we go grocery shopping versus plastic bags? Are we using biodegradable things versus are we doing our best to reduce the amount of microplastics in water, etc.? Take responsibility, be accountable. Number two, experience the sacred in more ways. Rather than identifying the sacred as this thing or that thing, it's meditation, it's prayer. When we identify and experience the sacred in more ways, walking, riding a bike, watching a movie, seeing a sunset, when we can experience the sacred in more things, then more things, more places give us the opportunity to glow up. And lastly, let us ground ourselves in nature. Get outside, get in nature, get around some trees, some birds, get out in nature. Chief Seattle reminds us all things share the same breath. The beast, the tree, the human. The air shares its spirit with all the life it supports. Ruach, the breath of the divine wind that breathes life. That sound, which is found in so many different words, whether it's the Egyptian ka, Allah, Yahweh, Ruach, Amen. That sacred breath, that sacred sound of life, that is the air that shares its spirit, that is spirit as air, which links and supports all of life. How do we ground ourselves in that, recognize that? The combined intelligence of humanity could not create the life of a single plant. And yet, the intelligence in the creative soil of the earth will produce as many for us as we ask. When we plant the seed of that which we wish to have created, we plant a rose seed, the creative soil of the earth gives us a rose bush. If we plant broccoli, the creative soil of the earth will grow broccoli. And it will do it as many times as the creative soil is nutrient rich. As long as the seed is well, as long as we plant it correctly, as long as, then it will always do. But no matter how hard we, humanity, tries to grow an onion, just simply, there's an onion, we can't do it. There's a creative process that we don't have access to. Now, to that point, quiz. 3 of these are actual plants, living plants, and the other 3 are artificial. Now, while they may look the same or similar, they may be difficult to discern from an image. We understand that in real life, if we're able to get up close, to touch it, to sniff it, then we are able to identify which is artificial and which is real. Now, an artificial flower is a real artificial flower, right? Real flowers grow, they bloom, they wither, they die. Artificial flowers simply sit. And yet they are real, they are tangible. We can touch them, we can move them, we can gift them. So they are real, but they are not real living plants. We cannot create real living plants. Only nature, only the divine, only the absolute can do that. So let us honor it. Let us respect it. Let us learn how to embody and utilize and work within that energy. The sun does not forget a village just because the village is small. In other words, nature has no favorites. Nature shares sunlight and rain, water and air equally. It is we who get stingy and selfish and greedy. By any chance, do you know who this statue is honoring? Okay, I'm going to show you the centerpiece, the person at the top, up close. Know who that is? As he reaches toward the sky. You know who that is? Okay, I'm going to show you another version, different statue, same person. You know who that is? Or who it represents? You know who that is? The only photograph, the only legitimate photograph taken of him, Chief Seattle, who gave a speech December 1854. Every part of the earth is sacred to my people. Every shining pine needle, every sandy shore, every mist in the dark woods, every meadow, every humming insect, all are holy in the memory and experience of my people. We love this earth as a newborn loves its mother's heartbeat. So if we sell you our land, love it as we have loved it. Care for it as we have cared for it. Hold it in your mind. Hold in your mind the memory of the land as it is when you receive it. Preserve the land for all children and love it as God loves us. As we are part of the land, you too are part of the land. This earth is precious to us. It is also precious to you. One thing we know, there is only one God. No man, be he red, white, can ever be apart. We are all siblings after all. We are all family after all. What is his message communicating to you? What is he inspiring within you for you to glow up and recognize that the Holy Land is everywhere and everyone? I believe in God, only I spell it nature. Breathe. There is a prophecy generally attributed to the Hopi indigenous peoples that says when the earth is ravaged and the animals are dying, a new tribe of people shall come unto the earth from many colors, classes, creeds, and who by their actions and deeds shall make the earth green again. They will be known as the warriors of the rainbow. Are we the ones who are being called to make the earth green again? Are we the ones called to make the earth green again? Are we the ones called to make the earth green again? As Chief Seattle said, respect it as we respect it. Are we returning to a new version of how are we today inspired to honor, respect, heal, and make the earth green again? How are we embodying the energy of the warriors of the rainbow? How are we speaking that language, feeling what they are supposed to or need to feel to do the work that they are here to do? And what are the actions that the warriors of the rainbow engage in? How do they make the earth green again? Breathe. One of the things that I appreciate is the idea of, in various cultures, the gods and goddesses, the archetypes that metaphysically point the way. So whether it's the Japanese, I don't know how you're seeing this on your screen, lower left, right? Because I don't remember if it's flipped or not. Anyhow, the dragon in the bottom, Kurokami. Each of these, in one way or another, represents the god of, the archetype of, the energy of nature, the rainbow. So Oshumare, Quetzalcoatl, the two-headed dragon Hung from Chinese, and Indra, the god of thunder, rain, the storm, as well as the rainbow. There's certain energy. Remember, warriors of the rainbow. There is energy that these images and symbols and archetypes offer us to embody so that we glow up, so that we become the 21st century new thought warriors of the rainbow. How do we embody that? Just like in Buddhism, there's a certain sect of Buddhism, Vajrayana. They use that symbol that you see in the center, which is a representation of the indestructible nature of reality, the power of wisdom, compassion, and mastery. Now, the Vajra, also Dorje, D-O-R-G-E, well, some use a J, but Dorje, is often paired with bell, right? And the bell also has what it represents: wisdom, emptiness, the understanding of reality. How are we invited to embody this? Right? So, once again, yes, we can use symbols and have implements and tools that, but how do we embody that? Many, many, many years ago, I attended a powwow, and there was a certain place where they were making and giving, well, I mean, you had to buy it, medicine bags, medicine totem bags. And one of the people who was making them said that, yes, while it's good to have this, it is even more empowering that you become your own talisman. You are so embodied with the energy of the eagle feather, the tiger's eye stone, the onyx, that you are so embodied with it that you don't need the external talisman. You don't need the external bag. You are it. So how are we embodying it? Humankind has not woven the web of life. We are but one thread. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. All things are bound together. All things connect. We are but one thread within the web of life, connected to all else that is the web of life. And what happens in one place in the web vibrates throughout the web. Another way of saying it, that which God is a circle whose center is everywhere, the circumference is nowhere. God simply is, and what happens anywhere happens everywhere. So wherever a genocide is occurring, it affects us all. Wherever a war is occurring, it affects us all. It is not isolated to a certain population in a certain village, town, city. It is not. The web of life reverberates throughout all. We can pretend that it doesn't. We can ignore the vibrations of, but sooner or later, it's unavoidable to realize, to recognize that we are all affected by it. Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. Look deep into nature. So let's revisit those 3 steps. Look deep into nature by taking responsibility. Look deep into nature by experiencing the sacred. Look deep into nature and ground yourself in nature, and then you will understand everything better. Remember what Pythagoras said? Know thyself, and then you will know both the universe and God. Ground yourself in nature. Root yourself in nature, for nature is, what did Frank Lloyd Wright say earlier? Oh, I believe in God, but I spell it nature. Root yourself in nature, meaning God. Take responsibility, experience the sacred, and ground yourself in God. And you will know, you will experience things in a vastly different way, and your mind will be cracked open in ways that we cannot imagine. So the invitation for you is ask yourself, how am I invited into nature? There are various places where nature is abundant if you're in a rural place. But if you're in a city like New York, you have to find what is the green space that you are going to go to? Central Park, Bryant Park. Where are you going to go to be enveloped in nature? Now, the etymology of the word, I'm going to pick a few things out and give them to you. From the Latin, natura means birth. Now keep in mind, ground yourself in nature. Ground yourself in birth, in character, in the course of all things. Ground yourself in that which means to be born or reborn. Ground yourself in the very character and qualities of the universe itself. And as we do so, we are giving ourselves the opportunity to be reborn. This is one reason why people hug trees and engage in forest bathing, the Japanese practice. Yes, it offers us relaxation, but it also offers us an opportunity to connect with the very heartbeat of the divine as it shows up as the trees and the air and the birds and the crickets and all of. And that heartbeat returns us to the sacred drum of life itself. And in that space, we are reborn, we are renewed. And from that renewed place, we are able to make the earth green again. Whatever you do makes a difference. And you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. Let's say that again. What you do makes a difference. There's no getting around that. But the question is, what kind of difference are you going to make? What kind of difference do you want to make? A life-affirming difference or none? One that values, respects, and honors, or one that disrespects and discards, dishonors? Because no matter what, you are going to make a difference. Breathe. The Science of Mind and Spirit 4.0 gives us the means to live in holy relationship with all that is, including ourselves. When we can see the face of God in and as everyone and everything, the city streets, the birds, the bees, rocks, trees, rivers, and seas, as well as the yous and the me's, whose path we may never cross. All are sacred. All are holy, even if they do not know it. Even if when they behave in the most non-life affirming ways imaginable. So our work is to let nothing get in the way of our awareness and practices of the truth. How are we invited to live as the sacred, the holy, the whole, the perfect, and the complete divinity that we already are now? Where you are is holy ground. Breathe. This week's affirmation, our declaration. I will say it first, and if it resonates with you, you are invited to say it with me the second time. I embrace the holy nature of all that is, the earth, stars, water, air, and myself. We are all God. Together. I embrace the holy nature of all that is, the earth, stars, water, air, and myself. We are all God. And so it is. This week's Thursday night study group questions or your own personal journal questions. How often do I currently get out into nature? And is that enough time to nurture greater spiritual awareness in me? How often do I pray for the earth and all of nature? What do I do to take responsibility, to feel in every experience the sacred, and to ground myself in nature? What do I do? What does it mean for me to be a rainbow warrior as it relates to Science of Mind and Spirit 4.0? What kind of difference do I, so I should say what kind of difference do I want to make based on the Jane Goodall quote? Go back and read the full speech once again of Chief Seattle. After reading his full speech, what struck me most was, and then identify 3 things from his speech that really, really stand out for you. And then lastly, what Greta Thunberg said, all we have to do is wake up and change. Well, what does that look like for me to wake up and change? Breathe. This week's The Practice. Have a conversation with someone about how capitalism, religious separatism, and othering are harming the planet and all that are on it. Then discuss possible solutions that you and our community, whether it's this community specifically or CSL community or the New Thought community, but how can you and our community or communities engage to address this? Breathe. As we anchor and ground into that space of infinite awareness, where I will simply say, as has been said before, if your only prayer were thank you, that would be enough. And so I say thank you. Thank you for this awareness. Thank you for this breath. Thank you to the earth, for the earth. Thank you for all that nature is, the air, the sky, the sun, the stars, the moon, the waters, the creatures, the animals, all of life. Thank you. I am grateful. I am grateful for all that is. I am grateful. For all that I am grateful. Thank you. The law does what the law does and returns to us precisely because that which we appreciates, that which we value increases in value. So when I say thank you, I am graced and blessed with more to be thankful for. And so once again, I am grateful. Thank you. And so it is. And so it is. Blessings, much love and appreciation. As always, we'll see you sometime during the week or right back here. Same bat time, same bat channel. Love you. Go make the earth green again.